Hello there, friends. Today I want to talk about the dangers of imagination. Now, human imagination is a wonderful faculty of the mind, but it has some serious pitfalls if you're pursuing the practice of being a happy human being, because it's always possible to imagine an experience that's better than the one you're having right now, or the one that you had in the past. And it's always dangerous to apply the imagination to compare yourself to other people, because imagination is really sort of a garbage in, garbage out process. If you feed it the wrong assumptions, then the production is going to be deeply flawed. So we'll go over those in turn. The first danger of imagination is imagining a better present than the one that you are experiencing, because it's always possible. Imagination is this boundless potential to generate experiences that aren't happening. Right? Oh, yes, if this was this way and this was this way, it would be so much better. There's no end to the amount of cognition you can waste imagining a better set of circumstances than the one that obtains right now. And unfortunately, no amount of imagination can actually change the present. The present is the present. The only thing we can do with it is accept it, understand it, come to know it well enough that we can take action towards a better future. Now, if you're imagining a better future, that could be very productive, provided it's rooted in tracking backwards from that imagined better future to what are the steps that I can take right now in the present to move myself in that direction. But imaginative activity that distracts you from what's going on right now, that allows you to avoid accepting what's going on right now, ultimately is going to undercut your future happiness. As bad as that is, doubly so for imagining a better past. The past is profoundly unchangeable. It's important to reckon with the past. It's important to accept what's gone before. It's important to extract the most learning that we can so that we have the greatest power to act in the present to take us towards an imagined better future. But any time spent imagining alternative pasts, unless you're a writer of fiction, that is utterly fruitless. First of all, because the things that we imagine the past could have been probably couldn't have actually turned out that way. So many things would have to line up just perfectly in a manner that's all too easy to imagine, but very, very difficult to actually bring about. If we could go back in time, it would be a lot harder to make the past different from what it was in a controlled way that brings it towards this beautiful imagined past. And we can't, so it's all very useless. So, understand the past, accept the past, embrace the past for what it was and all of the learning opportunities that it entailed for you. Attend to the present and move toward a better future. So that's the first danger of imagination, that you can always imagine a better present or a better past, and neither of those is a useful activity. Another danger is in creating imagined comparisons between yourself and other people. You are not some other person. Your history is not their history. Your struggles are not their struggles. They're very different. Probably, if you tried to imagine, what would my life be like if I was that person? Or, how do I stack up to that person? You're going to imagine their life as significantly easier than it was. You're going to dramatically underestimate the amount of effort, the amount of work, the amount of struggle that went into whatever they're projecting to the world right now. And you're probably going to dramatically underestimate how difficult their present is. So, when you compare yourself to somebody else, most of the time you are comparing yourself to somebody else's highlights reel, and you get to see all of the daily drudgery of your life, and you only really get to see the sorts of things that people want to present to the world about themselves, which is usually the good stuff. Fortunately, that's the way that we're all trained. Hide the struggle, and make it appear that everything's honky-dory, everything's great in our life. Look how much fun we're having. And so that comparison is almost always going to be unproductive, because you're going to be comparing a difficult life that you're leading to an imagined fairy tale life that somebody else is leading. Their life is harder than it appears. You're going to underestimate their struggle both in the past and in the present, and it's not really going to get anything done, because what you need to be doing is comparing yourself not to some other person, but to who you were yesterday, who you were 2 weeks ago, who you were 2 years ago, and make sure to use that to tune your trajectory, right? That's that accepting the past and extracting the learning opportunities that it provided. It's not where you are today in an absolute sense as compared to other people, but what your trajectory is today that matters, right? What direction are you headed in? If you are headed in the direction of your happiness, then tomorrow will be better than today, and the day after that will be better than tomorrow, approximately. Life will have its ups and downs. There are vagaries to all things, but on average, things are going to get better as long as you're pointing yourself in the right direction and applying effort to continue practicing the things that lead to your sustainable, enduring happiness. So that sort of application of imagination to sort of put yourself into the experience of some other person who you don't really know in a fine-grained way, because you know almost zero humans in a fine-grained way, it's just fruitless. You're not going to imagine a realistic scenario. The life you imagine for somebody else is almost always going to be better than the life that they're living, and it's certainly always going to be better than your life, or you wouldn't be undertaking the exercise. So just stop, So we can pretty much always let it be a red flag if we discover ourselves imagining an alternative present, imagining what would it be like to be this person who I think has a better life than me, or imagining a different past. All of those things don't actually contribute to your well-being right now, and don't contribute to you getting pointed in the direction that you need to go in order to have the future of a happy human being. Why can't I ever